I'd like to call our workshop agenda meeting to order today, Tuesday, December the 3rd, 2024 at 10 a.m. Yvonne, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mayor Roy Leonard.
Here.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland.
Here.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson.
Here.
Councilwoman Lily Richardson.
Here.
Councilwoman Brandy Peterson.
Here.
Lenny, would you please lead us in the invocation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for this glorious day you bestowed upon our wonderful community. I want to thank you for all the citizens that are blessed to live here, and I ask you to guide and protect them always. Dear Lord, I ask for your input, direction, as we consider the business before us. We ask these things in your great name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Item number 4A that's before us today is Little League Baseball. And I would ask that our representative from the Little League come up and let us know what your plans are and discuss that with us.
So currently we have the infield sod is being taken up. This been started yesterday. It's progressing through today. And then as soon as that is ready and prepped, well, the installation will begin possibly by the end of this week. Don't have an exact date yet. I do know that we had discussed at the town meeting once I do have a date to let you guys know as soon as possible so that we can have this sprinkler system set up to where the timers are going off.
They started removing the sod
Yesterday. So field 2 is complete. Field 1 is almost done. So, and then as soon as that's done, we'll have the sod guy. He'll let me know, and he's going to give me a 48-hour notice because that's how long I need to have the notice to the sod company that's providing it to us. So that will be hopefully completed by the end of this week is our goal.
Okay. And I saw that you're putting top of a Bermuda sod down.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I kind of looked that up on the computer, and it seems as that probably one of the better sods suited for baseball infield is that. And I don't know if did anybody else have an opportunity to look up anything about resodding or anything? Also, I did look up times of the year that were kind of basically best suited for that. It seems as though the winter time is probably one of the better times to do it. So it's not so hot, I guess, on freshly laid sod, gives the roots a chance to bite in.
We're hoping to get it done, right at the end of our fall season, so we have a good time to get it established before we're back practicing on it come February. So.
Any of you other council members have anything, questions to ask about this resodding or opinions or input? Mayor, I know you're heavily involved, but have been in the Little League.
Well, I didn't. I see that they're in the process of removing whatever was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. Have you found someone to donate sod?
So we purchased the sod. They gave us a pretty good deal, but we purchased the sod from Johnston Brothers in Bunnell. And then Superior Sod is a company that is actually donating their time to install it professionally for us.
Awesome.
And
good
then
deal.
The person that's removing it is James Goins. He owns a lane clearing excavation, and he also donated his time to remove it and haul it off for us. So.
Well, that's
fantastic. And in return, we're providing banners to put on our fields for their companies, to thank them for their donation, to show their support for Little League. So, we'll be.
So what y'all were looking for is just a town to to water, to keep it watered?
Pretty much that's kind of what we needed from the town, was just to make sure that we could keep it watered to it guys get established. And moving forward, I'm not sure. I know that the town mows and things like that for the fields. I'm not sure as far as fertilizing and weed control, what that is involved with you guys, but we're happy to help with that as well, because we want to keep it nice after the time and money put into it. We want to do our part to help keep it nice as well. Like I said, I don't know what the maintenance is for the grass there, but we're willing to help.
Now, are y'all just doing the infield?
Correct. We did not do the
Working on the
outfield.
outfield.
As of now, no.
Well, with the sand spurs that's in that Pierson field, it's not so much over in the Burnson field.
Mm-hmm.
But the Pierson field is pretty heavy with sand spurs. They always have been since the county took them over. Now, when we was taking care of them years ago, there was no sand spurs and no field. Them fields was, you almost had to mow and pull a sweeper behind you to clean the grass every time you mowed.
So what did y'all do?
But when the county took over,
So is there something they're putting on the field that we put on the field back in the day to keep the sand?
we
spurs, or
took care of the
just let it-
fields because we put fertilizer and we put weed and feed on it twice a year. And when the county took over, all that stopped. I mean, nobody took care of them like they're supposed to. Anytime you don't put that weed and feed out to take care of the grass, sand spur's gonna take over. That weed and feed will take care of them sand spurs. It takes a little time, but that's one thing they need to go back to doing. Putting that weed.
Weed and feed though, you gotta have the right, because Tom and I planted the grass up there this year. It looks damn good. I mean, it really does. We fertilized it. A lot of times you can sweeten the soil up with Camadil, or the oil miners should say they need Camadil. I think that's what we need to do, and I don't have a problem doing it. That's one way to get rid of sand spurs. Some of our kids, I coached softball for Tom Cowart, and I did that for 6 or 7 years. I've been involved with this now since 5 years, 6 years. Started at 4, 6 years. And the first couple of years, the kids would do sit-ups in the outfield. They would be covered in sand spurs. I mean, covered. And Tom and I we put a lot of fertilizer on that thing last year.
Yeah, right
They were
before
not
spring.
bad this year.
They were not as bad.
Not as bad
I
this
think-
year as they were
I think
previous.
the weed feed can kill your grass. So you gotta be careful which weed feed. And I think we need to just put dolomite and see if we can sweeten the ground and see if that will get rid of it.
I agree about that weed feed too. I mean, if you have like a typical lawn at a home, it's like St. Augustine grass, then you put weed and feed on it, it works pretty good. But then when you have an area of grass where you have a mixture of grass like Bahia, and there's a lot of other grasses in that outfield, you got to be really careful about your weed.
Some of
and
it's
feed.
gonna
A
die.
lot of that weed and feed has atrazine in it, and atrazine is very good on like St. Augustine, but it'll kill Bahia grass and grass that's similar to that.
We started out with ryegrass. We planted that in late January.
Yeah.
And then, as we were spreading that, we put a hay in with it. And when the rye, I mean, it grew, it looked good.
Mhm.
When the ryegrass started dying off, the hay kicked in. And by this fall, the fields looked really good.
Yeah.
But the infield was so bad. I mean, literally, the kids were, when the ball hit the lip, it would shoot right by their heads. I mean, it's a wonder somebody hit
The
it.
lip kind of was very uneven, and the lips were.
Has that lip coming out of the infield to the outfield, is that lip, has it been addressed? Has it been knocked down, or is it still a problem, or?
They did drag it a lot and move, and they did put dirt, I mean, more clay in.
Yes, the county did address that outer lip, but the front part, the whole front part was a big problem too, so.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, the
worse.
county did work on the outer one right before, I think, over the summertime, before fall started.
That's fine.
And so that was, that helped a lot.
So I hope with the new sod, they can keep everything, when they drag it, they don't take the clay away from it.
Wow.
They need to have it, you know, right there at.
I don't know if you guys have looked at this, ball field usage schedule, so to speak, that's here in Volusia County, what's happening in all of our other cities. But Pierson currently is the only Little League field that there's no charge to the Little League to use those fields. So I'm hoping that, I'd like to keep it that way if we long as we can, but I'm hoping that by doing that, the Little League itself is going to take quite a large responsibility of helping us maintain those fields, because we're using them, you're basically using them at no charge. And I'm glad to see that y'all are taking the initiative to do that stuff and keep it up.
We cannot afford this interlocal agreement with the county.
With the county, we have this, the county, or we, with an interlocal agreement, and, we cannot afford that. I mean, it's gonna end up costing us around $44,000
We can't do
a year,
it.
and we can't do that. I mean, it's
Just for the worker to come up here and maintain those fields, $44,000, and looking at the spreadsheet they gave us, they're talking about 1,165 annual hours, which there's no way. There's one guy that comes up here. I mean, this is the county ripping
Yeah.
downtown off, is
Yeah.
what this is. I mean,
And the
Well,
problem,
and they're not doing all of it, they're only doing the clay. So
And-
they're not doing every, you know.
They're not doing nothing but the clay
what
and mark.
actually has to be done. And another thing in here is that the county shall, in its own discretion,
Yeah.
and provide that the county has the resources to do it. So they're basically telling us, we're gonna pay them $44,000, and if they don't have somebody to come up here and do it, they're not gonna do it. I mean, how is that possible?
What about lining the fields and all that? Who's gonna do that? They did that on Arcade.
Yeah.
A lot of the cities require the Little League to line their own field.
I think it's gonna come down to the point that prior to the game, that the Little League is gonna be responsible for actually laying the chalk line.
But as far, like, so we could do the chalk lines, but like if the town is doing the, like, you know, keeping the grass mowed, are they gonna be able to keep the clay, like, drug as well? Or like, how is the clay gonna be maintained if the county's removed from the?
I talked to the boys, and they told me the only machine that we don't have is the little machine that drags the clay. And it's just one little tiny machine up there. I don't know what all goes into doing that. But is that something?
It's just like a graded,
Yeah.
a metal drag, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Drag.
like something that you knock the dirt off your shoes
Can't
with.
you just put that on behind one of the zero turns?
I think
Yeah,
if you
sure
didn't
you
put it
can.
behind a zero turn, maybe put it behind one of the John Deere Gators or something like that.
I think, yeah, you can put it behind one of the zero turns, so that's more or less all he uses,
Yeah.
that county guy.
Yeah, I've seen him dragging it, and it's some kind of little,
Machine.
Well, they got a regular ball machine that's got a piece on the bottom that they push down, and they just run around the field with it. And it got a piece on the back that kind of knocks it down. But years ago, the town always raked it with a rake, leveled it up, and it always looked good. But the ball machine just takes a lot of the time out, hours out. By the time you rake a field and level it with a rake, it takes a lot of time.
But for
Where that ball
44
machine
grand,
don't.
we can hire a part-time person to come in and maintain fields at 44 grand a year. I mean, that's
Oh,
reality way under.
absolutely.
I mean,
But-
you could hire another public works guy and full-time and still save money. off of that $44,000.
But we have to be cautious there, according to our accountant, right? Very cautious. I don't want us to go back to the problem we were in.
No, I don't either.
Mhm.
But as far as, actually lining the chalk lines and stuff, I think that should be left up to the team, Little League. I know that my wife and I coached girls softball for a long time up there, and most of those times we lined our own fields.
And I know we
put
do,
batting boxes up
we
there.
do have some things that, we might just have to upgrade some of the stuff that we have because we haven't done it for the past few years.
Right.
So we'll have to look and see, we'll just have to get things to where it's an efficient, easy thing for the coaches to be able to do, or someone, during the day prior to a game.
Right. I mean, normally when we did it, it was like the coaches that did it.
And I understand y'all have, it's the same when I was up there. There's only 5 of y'all that do anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But one thing that me and Billy Rodriguez figured out is you gotta put it back on the team. You gotta put it back on the teams and say, hey, you need to find somebody on these days to do your fields, to do your concession stand, because if you don't put it on them, they're not gonna help you. They're not gonna take out their time. It's only you guys that are wanting the better. The other ones are pretty much, think their kids going to the MLB and you're a babysitter for them for a couple hours in the afternoon.
Yvonne, have y'all seen this by any chance?
Is that from the,
Municipalities,
Yeah,
what they
that's right
pay?
here.
Yeah, this is all of the different towns.
oh, okay.
Oh, it's not in the packet.
It's in the packet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is what the other towns.
You need to make
municipalities are
a couple
charging.
more copies real quick so Stacy and Tom can see that too, and all of them, yeah.
It's not like we want to put
You
it
know
in the
what, I'm
Little
gonna-
League, but I mean,
I'm gonna bring something up too. When I played baseball, of course, that was a long damn time ago, we passed a bucket every
Yep.
game
absolutely,
that people that were at the game donated to the league.
that's right.
Why did that stop?
Yeah.
I mean, how many people, I haven't been to a game in a while, so how many people you got at the game?
There's quite a bit of traffic and people up there.
Yeah.
40, you got 40, 50 people there?
We just got to be back.
If each one just gave $1, that's $50 a game. How many games you play? You know, you got-
We play anywhere from 10 to 15 games.
That's.
If you got 10 games at $50 a game, that's $500.
That's right.
I mean, and surely.
Per game,
Yeah.
per game. How many teams played?
We've had, I think, 5 in the spring, we had 8 in the fall.
8 teams.
And that was,
Yeah.
this past fall was our biggest fall, because usually we had very minimal, but fall.
Stacy, did they still do that when you played? I don't remember.
They didn't do that.
The one thing
Yeah,
that I know-
every game, every
Yeah,
game.
because you would take the bucket and ask people.
Yeah, about the third
Around
inning,
and
about the
Yeah, about
third
the
or
middle
fourth
of the
inning.
game, take the bucket.
Take a
around.
bucket and walk the whole field.
Yeah.
So, I know some of the other fields that we have been at, a lot of people do like a 50-50 raffle, because then it's a little bit of incentive for, you get a little something back too.
Mhm.
And so sometimes that might sell a little bit more, because other fields, other leagues have done that as well during games. So that was something that we were thinking about introducing and coming this spring as well. So.
Lindsay, we better chat with our council on that. Remember, there was something about that's considered gambling, right?
Well, as long as it's not for profit.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
That's
we'll-
where
we'll
it
check.
falls into play with that.
Yeah. But yeah, get creative. Like Bobby said, pass a bucket.
But I don't, I mean, if,
I don't want to put this back on the Little League, and I don't want to pay $44,000 for the town of Pierson either, but I don't know what the,
happy medium is.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm not sure,
Well, I think that, go ahead, I'm sorry.
that's okay. Yeah, I know, like, the city of DeBerry, they're not Little League anymore, they do the Babe Ruth, league. I do know someone that does play there. And So,
The
yeah.
Barry doesn't have any little league teams that play on their fields anymore.
No, it's only, they're all Babe Ruth.
You're talking about cities here that got a lot more money in Pierson too.
Right.
Exactly. That's it.
That's the bottom
That's,
line.
that's,
Our guys,
that is
all our
it,
people
Tom.
help, they're, I mean, we can't get them no more.
Our tax base is not like all these other cities.
Yeah.
We don't have
That holds us down from doing a lot.
We don't have the budget. We just don't have.
We don't.
And I know like a lot of these fields too, you know, with like I know somebody that plays travel ball, they pay $250 a month per kid
Mhm.
to the travel ball teams. You know, so they go and they spend $100 an hour to rent these fancy fields like in Sanford and things, but you know, they're making $250 a kid, $2,500 a month off of a team of
Well,
10.
the one went by the roster, the kids on the roster, and they added them up, and
Yeah.
it's charged per roster, yeah.
Yeah.
New Smyrna, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
wanna have to do that back to the kids, I mean, you're taking away from them if you're starting to put too much money ahead of it, but,
Tom and I paid for kids last year,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
oh, yeah.
They paid
Yeah,
for
whenever we have
it.
kids
Yeah.
that don't, you know, they can't afford.
Well, there's
to-
a lot of parents don't have the money.
I know, so I'm getting- yeah.
And that's why, you know, we
You
try
don't wanna take
to.
it away from the kids.
We try to keep our dues, you know, our dues are a lot less than DeLand's, you know, we try to keep them down as much as possible, and we try to, you know, put a little bit more on our sponsorships, like our team sponsors and the banners and things to kind of help to balance it out so that the, you know, families don't have a huge, and we do, you know, put on there that if you have a child who's interested in playing, and we even tell, like, some of the teachers at the elementary school, they're, really good about trying to kind of talk to kids and see, we've had teachers actually reach out to us and say, hey, I have 2 kids that want to play, but their parents can't afford it. And, you know, that's when, like I said, Tom and Stacy have jumped in and said, you know, we'll cover their fees. And, you know, so I feel like if we are trying to push that too, so that people know that don't let that, you know, $80 number deter you from being able to play, because we want kids to be able to play. So we definitely have the ability to help that happen too, so.
Another thing, I'm just curious, do you just provide shirts and hats? I mean, or do you?
So we were doing shirts, hats, belts, and socks for a long time. We had a lot of people that wanted the newer, fancier jerseys that cost more. So we did. Actually, no, it wasn't Tom.
No.
We pay for our.
And we actually
Nothing to go without.
anything that our team wants above and beyond, Stacy and Tom take care of that baseball team. So. And a lot of the other, you know, it's like I know softball, they wanted to have nice practice jerseys, and that the coach paid for their whole 12 kids to get a whole second jersey.
Right.
But we are going to, I think we're going to try to add it back in, the socks and belts this coming spring, just because I said it, you know, it's not a whole lot, but it's a little bit, and it just, yeah. And then it's a little bit less than, you know, then they don't have to.
At one time, we were doing pants, and we cut out pants back in that day because it just cost too much more money to buy that. We just
Yeah,
put
now it's
that
like
out
almost,
to the parents.
yeah. And we do have, and a lot of people do donate cleats, and we have a bunch of bins of pants upstairs in the concession stand, and so we always tell our coaches, please let your teams know we have things, and they, you know, we have gloves, and there's cleats, lots of cleats. If they need anything, we do have lots of stuff that's donated to us that we keep to be able to give out to people, so.
I'd like us to try to get back to the real point at hand here, and that's number one, the sod. So we're all going to be in agreement that we're going to be able to keep the field irrigated, and they're going to put the sod down.
Most definitely.
And then I think the next basic thing we need to concentrate on, I mean, we're talking about shirts and gloves and all that kind of stuff, and it's important, but we need to come up with a determination on what our shared responsibility is going to be on keeping our fields operational. And we don't have a whole lot of personnel to dedicate full time to keeping these fields, so I think it's going to have to be a shared responsibility to some degree. I mean, we can't do all of it, and I obviously don't expect you guys to do all of it.
We
from my
mow the
point of
fields,
view.
don't we?
I
We
mean,
still mow the fields.
We're going to, I haven't.
We mow them twice a week.
Melissa's doing her-
Yeah.
I think during the ball field, I don't think we have a problem with keeping them mowed. I think like lining the base lines and the battery boxes, I really think that needs to be done by the team. And as far as raking the infield, I think that we're probably gonna have to do that. I mean, our workers, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
So we own a drag or whatever?
We don't own one currently, no. The county has been doing it with their machine, but we were talking about doing this agreement with the county, which we can't afford to do that.
Right.
But my question is the county gonna still be able, are they gonna still come up and drag our clay for us?
No.
If they're not
They're
gonna do
not
that,
gonna do
then,
nothing.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do nothing.
They're not doing a whole lot now.
I
What did
understand.
y'all pay last year?
We haven't tried it.
We haven't.
We
We haven't in
paid.
several years.
It's
We
just
haven't.
been kind of an agreement, but I would think, wasn't it, Bobby? Just
Yes.
like a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did not have a contract with the county. It was more like a gentleman's agreement.
Can't just say the gentleman up there now.
Pardon me?
The gentleman up there now for the county, I know you said they're not doing much. He has been the best guy that's been there in a few years. He is willing to do whatever. I know that agreement.
How long has he been there, Tom?
He's been there for a couple months now.
Just a couple months?
Yeah.
Was he the one that brought the clay up here, do you know?
I don't know, but.
I know our former mayor was on the phone with them
Yes,
there for
yeah,
about
they
a solid
were-
week,
Yeah, they
constantly,
had a team.
trying to get some damn clay brought up.
Yeah, they did that, they did do that. But the other guy that was here, he just got an altercation kind of.
Yeah, there was a prior worker that did not want to be here, did not want to, did not want to help us, mumbled and grumbled and griped the whole time I was
One
here.
time Tom went in the wrong on that.
I was not wrong with it.
But
I was
this
asking Mark's better, that's all I asked him. But this guy up here, he's willing, he's out there just going on the back to us, he's got them all, I mean, that were left. He's trying to get them rolling.
Is there,
I wonder if we could just talk to him.
is there any, that's what I was fixing to say, is there any way that we can just work out something with that particular part of county rec or county parks or whoever the guy works for, just to have him?
He works out from under the guy at Chuck Lennon. That's who this
If there's any way we can continue that arrangement with him to help us drag our fields.
Still county, I mean, how are you gonna,
But is there any way to
are you
like
gonna
counter,
contract that
can you
without,
like
Well,
counter
I don't
what they
know
sent
how-
over?
Are we paying, we're not paying them anything.
Well,
we
that's-
haven't had a contract
that's
and
my-
it's kind of been.
That's my question. Where's that all going from? Because they did a bunch of stuff for Sammy. And this guy's up there doing stuff now. We've paid nothing. So are we gonna get a $40,000 bill in the mail? Because no one has discussed payment.
We're not gonna get no.
The county's not gonna do it for free, so they're gonna eventually catch up to us and charge us something.
But the thing is, the county gets part of our taxes. Well, the county does not do a whole lot in this end of the county. Never has.
And a lot of our players are not in the town.
And they're not
They're
in the city, a lot of them. They're on the outside. That was,
So you're right. At
So
some
the
point,
county should
really does,
do
doesn't
something.
provide anything for the kids in this area by not helping with the fields.
That was Sammy's argument. Kids just from Pierson done played this here.
Right.
Got from the whole
Northwest
northwest
County.
part of the county. Barberville, Seville, Astor,
Astor.
the whole northwest corner of Volusia County. And Jimmy's right, they don't do a damn thing for us.
Well, should we make
anything
it?
they actually do in this part of the county, they charge the town for it. They always have. And the town's always paid.
So the thing to do then would be to get Christian to try to negotiate a limited where they just handle the clay and things like that for, a reduced price or for free.
Per
because
hour
it's
or
on
something.
their
Yes,
taxes,
yeah.
whatever.
I think that would be a smart move, if we could get some type of an agreement between the town and them and county recs or whoever it may be, to just continue what they're doing,
But this
dragging
This
the
is-
field. I mean,
they wanted to take over, they essentially wanted to lease the park is what this is. You'd pay them money and they would come here and supposedly handle everything, so if you read the contract, it's.
And then
but
they'll charge us $30 an hour.
But then this is only for fields, keep in mind, they're charging you 11 grand per field
Right.
annually. So I would, if you went back to the county, or if you had Christian go back to the county, we need to come up with a list of what we want them to do, and then.
If they just maintain the clay, I'd be happy.
Well, this is my thing.
That's all they, right.
Like I said, they have that
That's all
little-
they've been doing, and, if we can just get them to continue to maintain that clay.
We even sprayed herbicide on the clay before the season started, got rid of the weeds when they started working.
Right.
The new guy has done, he has kept it up,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. He has been on top of it.
Why can't we all have a meet with them?
Why can't we just pay them hourly?
I don't see why we couldn't.
Couldn't do what, Lonnie?
Couldn't pay him hourly, that one man. I mean, even though, albeit he works for the county, right?
That's why he comes twice a week.
Correct?
A maintenance worker for the county on this thing is $15.75 an hour.
$15.75?
That's what it says,
We're not
maintenance.
gonna get nothing cheaper either.
Heck, no.
Right.
That's on this agreement that.
So that's in this exhibit B on this
Right.
thing, where it estimates it all out.
Mhm.
But a senior maintenance worker, a supervisor, a leisure service manager, a recreational supervisor, I mean, why don't none of those people
None
come
of those
up
people
here?
come.
Exactly.
They came here that 1 week, probably, that they did right before fall season, when they brought the clay in to add to all 3 fields and fix the lips on field 1 and 2.
I guess another
Really, that's
question
the only guy that's here.
I have is, are we just talking about these 4 fields, or are we gonna take care of the backfields that we have that we need to take care of also?
Before we go any further, if you read the contract, section 2, scope of work, the county shall in its own discretion maintain the infield clay on fields 1, 5, 6, and 7 as identified in Exhibit A. Provided that the county has personnel and resources to do so, it is our intention to perform routine maintenance on the infield clay twice a week as deemed necessary. So the 44,000 is just for clay on 4 fields.
On 4 fields, and those other 3 fields, they don't touch.
And that's the thing too, because they
You need them.
really need them.
Yeah.
We really need them, because we're scrambling to have enough fields to
Fields to
practice. with
And we
kids.
have them, we just need to take care of them, maintain them.
How often does clay have to be added?
If it's worked right, I don't think very often, right?
Yeah. And we're gonna add field conditioner to the fields 1, 2, and 3. That helps to keep the clay working well, and helps with drainage, and helps it make it look really nice. So we're gonna be doing that to those 3 fields prior to the next season.
Those are the fields in the back, right?
But they drag it like twice a week, just to kind of keep the weeds down.
The ones in the back.
The
Yeah.
ones in the back, yeah, they're, the one is just, is softball, so it's just a skin field where it's just clay,
The
but.
2 and the 3 on that picture
And
are
then
the fields
the
that they
far
don't take
back
care of and
ones.
we don't use. We only use the 1 field, and that's the senior baseball field.
So the
Yeah.
fields that you're redoing the, sod on is fields, what numbers were they?
6 and 7.
6 and
6,
7,
7.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Those are the primary fields that are used, right? The fields.
Five.
Yeah, 6, the 5, 6, and 7.
6,
5,
and
6, and
per
7.
game,
Now,
because
5 is
are
more or less
soft.
like Little League, the girls.
Softball,
league.
softball.
But
Yeah.
we have 2, and usually we do have 2 softball teams, and we're back to that now. So field 4 is another softball field that we usually help with, because a lot of times, if there's a softball team that has a game, the other softball team can't practice because they don't have a field. So field 5 or 4 would be their practice field to be able to offset their schedules. And,
Field 6 and 7 are the 2 that are primarily used by Little League.
They're the oldest ones.
T-ball and.
Seven's the oldest one, and then
6 and
6.
7 are used for all games and for most practices. We used to use field, I guess it would be 2 and 3, the farthest 2 ones in the back, for T-ball and machine pitch to be able to practice. There's not games there because there's no lights, but they could practice there. Especially when, a lot of times we have 2 or 3 T-ball teams in the spring, and so it really gets.
I know at one time we had, back there in those backfields, we had 2 different T-ball teams, one on one side and one on the other side, just to try to make it fit them in there.
What about this, talking about this thing? You don't need them 8 hours a day up here. You can do this stuff in 4 to 5 hours. even at 8 hours, at $16 an hour, if you did it, that's $256 a week. It's $13,000 a year.
Yeah, but here's
Half of that.
$11,000 of the $44,000 is FICA, retirement, and health benefits. Because if they're a full-time county person, you're not just paying their hourly, you're also paying all their benefits, which comes out to about 50% of.
50% of the contract. Yeah, 50% of their contract.
Mhm.
Sure, they got machines in the gas station out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I don't know.
Sure, probably.
I don't know if they could just half that, all I'm saying. 3 to 4 hours, 2 days a week is all it takes. You can do that, you can do
And
it.
even once those backfields are established again, it doesn't, it's not a whole lot of time to drag them.
So do you think the Little League could find a person to do this?
To drag the clay and stuff for free? I mean, like I said, I can definitely see where if we have to put on to, coaches or get parents to help with lining the fields for games. But as far as dragging the clay twice a week, it's literally Kelsey and I, and we have a couple other parents that help out, and then I have these guys that, come on their own time, and, we are to the max of what we can do. I work a full-time job, so does, so it's, as far as being able to go and spend 5 hours twice a week at the field during the daytime, I had to have somebody commit to it consistently and make sure it gets done. And we can't just go on a week-to-week basis and say, hey, who can do this, we'll be chasing our tail forever. But
As far as dragging these fields, I think we only have 2 options. We're either gonna have the county person do it, like it's been being done, or our guys. And I'll be honest with you, we don't have the manpower to be able to do that.
I was gonna suggest find out how much that little machine costs, because, one person on that little machine to drag it, how long will it really take it? Is it?
About 15 minutes.
Right.
That's true. It's not.
So, we do have the manpower, and Lewis is already in charge.
if it's maintained,
Those are not grass.
yeah, as long as they keep it drugged to where, the weeds stay out of it, then it's not a time-consuming task.
That's probably the big deal if you ever let it get ahead of you.
Mhm.
And a lot of times during the off season, as soon as our
Yes.
games ended, the county stopped coming, and then the
They
clay
don't
was hard
come
as
until
rock.
that grass is almost sawed across the clay.
And that's what I said, he's out
That's
there
what
right
they
now.
go up there.
I just
Yeah.
told him, I said, look at the big field in the back, you see your field. It's the best it's looked in a long time.
And that's
Does that due to the new
due
fellow?
to the new
See, the new fellow,
the new fellow that's working with
I
the
thought
county.
in person, he was up there yesterday when we were digging up the sod, he's like, you tear the clay up, I'll fix it. You do what you have to do, we made our way in and out, so we didn't tear it.
He's a county man.
He's a county man. It's totally different. So,
Maybe y'all need to have a meeting with him and see if we can get him up here to discuss this and see if we can get a better rate.
That's what, no, I was just gonna say. It's not-
Or maybe they volunteer because they haven't really done anything up here with our tax
But
dollars.
it goes, that's right, our tax dollars, and then you've got people it's not Pierson kids playing.
Right.
It's from all over.
I agree, they're from DeLeon trained all the way to the county line.
Has always got the short end of the stick on everything. So,
I live almost in the land, I play golf, my kids come Pierson, so I tell you about.
there's a bunch of DeLand parents want to move their kids up here since we started all. We've actually had to turn some kids away, and I don't like doing it.
Why don't we see if we can?
If we could get a ball machine that they use to drag the clay, it actually don't take, I've done it many a time with their ball machine out there. It doesn't take about 15 minutes to do the clay.
Does that little machine have like a blade on the front of it?
It's got a little blade on the
That's the only
front.
difference
Looks
between
like
that
a
and
lawnmower
a
kind
mower.
of has a
I know, it
big,
looks just like
Yeah.
a zero-turn mower.
just a smaller.
You can spin it without spinning it.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
It's, right, Jimmy, don't you can.
You don't need to spin like they do. That's what throws that clay up there. in
That's
that
what
shit.
builds that,
That's
those
what
lips.
makes that lip, probably.
But after he gets done now, he takes it through, he pushes it all back, and he sweeps it all.
Yeah, he's been doing that.
He does.
They just have to make sure they don't drag too close to the grass. They need to stay a few feet away, and then really it needs to be hand raked around the edge of the grass.
I hate to lose this one, because he actually doesn't want to work with it, he wants.
Yeah, he said that. It'd be nice if you could just talk to this one.
Maybe, can we, possibly set up a meeting with that?
I don't even know who he is.
I don't either.
I don't know, but he's up there right now.
I can find out his name.
Boys probably know.
Find out his name.
You got one
and
voice
he can
up there,
say,
that's-
and if
that's
that doesn't
information.
work,
That's
literally, you can always go to county
If you
council
get
and
to,
present it.
meet with us, with the council or something, or
I mean, and I know,
mayor or me, it don't matter.
but I know,
I mean,
I would say it would probably be best if somebody went over there, because that's probably, that's his job.
I was gonna
For
say,
the
keep
county, you
in
can't
mind-
ask him to
Right,
come
keep in
here.
mind, he's got a boss.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's on minutes that are public.
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
That could be a
We
problem
get
for
in
him.
trouble.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we
Or
don't, we
hey,
don't
can
want to do
we
anything.
pay him
I know
$5 an hour?
I know
You're
Matt,
you're-
Matt Coleman is my contact.
Have the Little League operate than I am,
I could sure go ask
and
him
if you
he's
can
willing
talk
to,
to him, I think that would be wonderful.
on his spare time, not on his county time.
Just find out how many hours he really puts in.
Yeah.
The 2 days.
I mean, I was saying 2 full days would be like generous. I don't even know if he's ever 2 full days.
Yeah, I think he's done by lunchtime usually.
You're talking about 2 full days, what, a week?
Like 2
A week?
full days a week, yeah.
I think he doesn't need a full day.
We don't need 2 full days.
Yeah.
I think it could be, well, like I said, as long as it's maintained, I think 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, just to drag those fields with the machine. I think he's not usually there. He's usually there right at 8, and then he's definitely done usually before lunchtime.
In the Sandsburg issue, a couple months ago, I was talking to Michael Barneson, and he said there's a new product. And I told him I'd get back with him to get more details about it. I think it's a pre-emergent that he said is supposed to be wonderful. So if y'all would like, I'll do some exploration on that as well.
I think that would be something we definitely need to look at. If you would do that, that would be
Yes.
wonderful.
I also talked to Rick Davis at Co-op regarding sand spurs. He said if you get on a pro-diamine schedule, he said it won't kill them overnight, but he says you put that pro-diamine on those fields annually, probably in it will eventually get rid of all the sand
I'm
spurs.
sure you have to make sure you put it out at the right time of the year and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
What was it?
Definitely.
Well, what is, like, when they mow, do they have like a bag that gets
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
grass?
it's a barricaded.
'Cause they don't,
Get rid of
just
sand
throw
spurs.
sand
It
spurs.
won't do it immediately. Yeah, pro-diamine is
That's the active
active
ingredient.
ingredient. Yeah, old barricade.
Yeah, putting out lime helps, but it don't. It don't.
It will sweep the ground enough.
Right.
The grass should hopefully choke it out too.
I think keeping that soil pH up is
Yeah.
a good thing to do. I mean, the sand spur is like an acidic soil.
Yeah.
The more acidic the soil is, the more problem you're gonna have with sand spurs.
Y'all are through with the fall league now, right?
Yes.
Everything's over with till springtime?
Till
And that starts
January.
when, March?
January.
End of January, beginning of February.
January. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's here, Bobby.
Next month.
I thought I rushed to put us down.
Yeah.
So like, it starts, let's say January 30th.
They start practice.
Yeah,
and
we
all
start
that, and all
practice
games
usually at
start.
least, because games start
Then
the
depends
very
on-
beginning of March. So usually we try to get them on there a month prior. So
Prior to
usually,
practice.
by the end of January, our teams are ready to start practice.
Water is not a problem.
I don't think,
Town
that
does water.
if you guys get the sod down, we'll make the obligation to,
The water ain't no problem. They
Whatever.
got a timer, they can.
which I
set
think
it.
we discussed twice a
Twice a
day
day
for the
2
first
weeks,
couple
and then I
weeks.
think daily for another.
Yeah, my brother-in-law said twice a day for a couple weeks, and after that, like 1 day for a week, and then you can go every other day. that
I
person.
wonder how much water you need to put on twice a day. I mean,
Oh, like how long to run them?
yeah, maybe,
Oh, I know.
yeah. Cause I think we have timers for that stuff, right?
We got timers on them ball fields.
So I don't think that would be a problem. We just need to make sure all of our sprinklers are operating properly, and then we set the timer and it'll just be an automatic.
Tom,
They're
what's that
all
fence
easily
name?
accessible right now, because there's no grass over them. What's that? Yeah, they're all.
He's told me 3 or 4 times, but it ain't in my.
Right.
So
Well,
there's
that's
not gonna
the
be a problem with, you guys actually lining the fields then?
No, I mean, we'll have to do what we have to do, so, we'll have to have our coaches meetings and, the coaches are gonna have to, if they can't do it themselves, hopefully we can get parents to step up and, while the coaches are helping getting the kids warmed up, they can have some.
Does all that stuff, the lining, that little thing?
So we do have the little thing.
Is it there at
It
the
is
ball
in our
field?
shed. I know our we had like the squares for the batter's box, but they got broke, so we're gonna have to get new of that. But I think there's some rakes in there, and I know there's the machine in there to be able to line it, and I know we've got chalk from Ace.
Right.
We usually keep some on hand, so that in a pinch, we have the ability to do it, if the county didn't do it, or there was game back to back and needed to be touched up or something, so. We do have some equipment to be able to do that with, and we'll just have to make sure it's in good working.
Once the league starts, do y'all play every day? Every day of the week up there?
Yeah, there's someone practicing there every day.
I'm talking about playing ball.
Games.
Games.
There's games on Tuesdays, on the front 2 fields for baseball. There were games Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
The 4 days a week.
There's games. And then on the softball field, there's usually at least 2 to 3 games a week, depending on, now that we have 2 teams, a lot of times, they may each have 2 games each. So sometimes there's a game there every day, but we play away some too, so, but most of the time we always are hosting. We swap back and forth with DeLand, they send us a team and we send them a team because we have 2 machine pitch and 2 kid pitch for the fall, so we just rotated back and forth. So we had a home game every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
So basically, y'all playing 4 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Well, I don't wanna see the town get charged 44 grand by the county. I don't wanna see us have to charge Little League some astronomical. So I'm all in agreement. If y'all can get the fields line, then we can maybe take care of the dragon and figure out what we've got to do on that part. I love Little League, I love our kids, and we need to keep that here.
I think if we can do the mowing and the dragging, and
Work together.
and the teams can, line the bases, or the baselines and the batter's boxes,
Well, one of them little machines that they drag the ball fields with can't be that expensive. All it is like a little
Grant
3-wheeler with a bar on the bottom.
for that machine, cause that's Chipper Jones Park, that's upgrading. Could we possibly, if we get the grant, can we use some of that money for that? Cause since it's recreational, it's only to updo the fields.
We had to give them specific categories, so it didn't include any kind of purchasing of equipment or anything like that.
a lot of
Just
that
curious.
grant money is gonna go towards the actual
Just the
community center
playground.
building, right,
Just the
and the
playground.
playground.
The playground and the bathroom,
Okay,
if we get it. We won't even know till June if we got it.
Yeah.
that's another thing about grants you apply for and all that kind of stuff.
And I know with
It's
Little
not
League
fast.
comes, and that's when we have to, any grants that we can apply through the Little League, that is in January. So that's on our
Have
to-do
you-
list.
Has the Little League looked into, I don't know if the county would let you do an echo grant? Which county let you do an echo grant? Because echo grants are usually towns, but you can also be a nonprofit. So like, for instance, Seville Village Improvement Association, that's how they paid for all the renovations on the building up there. But echo, there's the 4 or 5 categories, but one of them is outdoor recreation, which I think is the O in echo. And they're matching grants where they pay 50% and you pay 50%, but the thing is the 50% doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. Like you can use like all your donation or all your volunteer hours. And you can say, okay, these 5 people worked 20 hours a month and their worth is $15 an hour. Therefore, we've contributed X amount.
Right.
And you can use that as part of your matching. But I would maybe look into talking to somebody who's familiar with Echo, because I mean, I think the smallest sum of money you can apply for is like 12 grand, all the way up to what was it, like $200,000. And granted, the more money you apply for, the more money you have to have for match. But I think all Echo really requires from you is that you have to show them that, like for us as a town, we have to show them a deed that says that we own something. I think as a nonprofit, you would just have to say, if I'm doing upgrades to this field, I am allowed to use this field for 20 years or whatever it is. So you would just sign an agreement with the town that said, you know, we've been using these fields for 50 years, we're going to keep using them for 50 years. And then they look at that as, okay, you know, we can give them money. But I would definitely, I don't know if they've ever done it for a Little League organization, but I would look into it.
And Kendra Hyvee
Yeah.
Kendra Highway
is, yeah, she
Oh,
works
okay.
right there. That's guys.
Yeah.
I know that. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Good friends with her.
She knows, she will help you.
Yeah.
She's,
Okay.
I would just ask her if it's possible, because I've never seen a Little League award on there, but
Right.
maybe Little League teams don't apply. Maybe they
Maybe
apply
they
for
haven't.
Little League stuff.
maybe they don't know.
Or maybe they don't know.
I
Right.
haven't thought about it, right. Well,
They
because
charge $600
we're kind of in a
for
unique, right, we're in a unique situation where most of them are playing on city fields that are paying for. So you can't use Echo money to pay like an annual lease on a field, but you could maybe pay it for facility upgrades, but they don't do that. They let the cities do that. That's what they pay for. So it's something to look into.
Yes, absolutely. I can definitely reach out to Kendra and see if she says, yeah, it would be something that we could do, then we'll definitely try to do that.
Randy, could you check on the cost of one of those machines that they use to drag the fields? Or maybe work with Ryan and Yvonne to see. I wouldn't even know where to begin to look for
It's a John Deere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is.
He got Toro, but this one might be a little cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that anybody that builds that type of equipment, be it John Deere, Toro, Exmark, I mean, there's other big companies that make that equipment.
Just going back real quick to the Echo thing, if you look at your
I mean,
property tax bill,
it doesn't look like there's much to it, but it may cost as much as
Right.
zero turn
Right.
on.
My argument to them is
Specialized piece.
we're all paying for
Right.
Echo in our taxes, we would like our kids to.
And there again,
Mhm.
we have budget restraints. So,
Right.
you know, we're in a bind this year.
Need that.
We don't really have any extra money kicking around. I mean, we've got some unforeseen expenses that have came up with some of the properties here. It's just,
Well, and, I don't know if, if there's something that we can help, try to put some of our funds to that, from our fundraising, we don't mind trying to.
well, there again, I think if it could be a shared cost responsibility or something like that, that would be great. But I think the first thing we need to do is find out how much one of these things costs. And then we can talk about how we can put the financing together in order to get one of them. And you're gonna talk to the.
I'll go over there and talk to him right now if he's still there.
Maybe someone.
What field's he working on, Tom?
In the back.
The back ones?
Yeah, he's probably ready about field, I don't know, down by the shed.
Yeah.
All right, is there any other comments, anything that anybody else has that we need to talk about? All right, being no further business, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.